Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. This is your host, Debbie. Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. I'm your host, Debbie, and today we have a very special guest here in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Luke Walton, and I am with the Waco Rowing Center.
Wow, welcome in. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
The first question I always love to ask is, what brought you to Waco, or are you a Waco native?
Sure. Not a Waco native, actually native to California, San Diego. And what brought me to Waco is actually the water.
Yay!
And that it initially was in the form of the Brazos River. Mm-hmm. And there's a gentleman here who is the executive director for the Waco Rowing Center, and his name is Matt Schuritzel. And Matt got here about 2 years ago, had moved from the Pennsylvania area, and found himself here with his wife and extended family. And he was looking around. He had been a rowing coach previously in near Philadelphia, or in Philadelphia for that matter. And he looked around here and thought, wow, with the body of water that is the Brazos River, it's incredible. It's a coach's dream, athlete's nightmare. You can just go and go and go and go and really row forever here. So the body of water is incredible. It's flat. It holds up to wind. It's long. So it made for a perfect venue to start a rowing club. And previously, the Waco Rowing Club had existed and is now being built upon, starting with a youth component.
Oh, wow.
And so this all revolves around youth rowing. Mm-hmm. The pilot school that we're involved with is La Vega High School. That's the initial school that we started working with. The administration there is incredible. The students there are incredible. And it's been great to do that. And so that's how Matt started. Mm-hmm. And through various business connections and friends, Matt reached out and asked me what I thought of the water. And the reason he asked me about that is that I am a regatta director. So in San Diego, I previously worked on one of the largest rowing regattas in the United States, the San Diego Crew Classic, which actually just happened last weekend. They just had their 50th anniversary. Incredible regatta. Oh, wow. And was great to be a part of that.
Yeah. I just got back from San Diego for spring break, so if I would have known.
Yeah, where did you spend time?
Mainly downtown. We went to Little Italy, to Balboa, to the zoo, the whole 9 yards. We tried to do as much as we crammed it all into a week.
Yeah, there is so much to do. San Diego, born and raised there, it's changed dramatically since I was young, especially downtown, East Village, Little Italy. All of those areas have really, really changed. If you like food and
we went
drink,
for the food.
That's where those are the areas you want to be in.
We did get the cheese wheel pasta. Sure. We did the whole 9 yards. So.
Sure. So, but this is probably the longest answer to a question you've ever asked. So through friends and business associates, I came out here to Waco and saw the water and talked to the board members of the Waco Rowing Center, and they asked me, what do you think? And I said, I think it's great. I think it's a tremendous body of water. And they said, do you think we can have a regatta? I said, yeah, I think you can. And they said, do you think we can do it in November? And I said, sure. And that started my relationship with the Waco Rowing Center. That started my commuting once or twice a month to Waco.
Wow.
Starting in about March of last year.
Wow.
And then I brought my wife out a few times, and we saw the area, and things started to build here. And that manifested in us buying a home in Waco in August. So we've been here since August. My wife was pregnant at the time, and just before the new year, on the 30th of December, we gave birth to our first little baby girl. So,
I love that.
So our baby girl is native Wacoan. So she gets to claim that. But my wife and I are transplants, and we absolutely love it here.
That's fantastic.
It's been incredible.
Yeah, I love hearing stories like that. So what do you love most about Waco so far?
It really, number one, the people. Everyone has been so friendly. There is such an atmosphere of, let me back up. In San Diego or in LA and West Coast, or even on the East Coast, and I lived there for a while, a lot of people ask questions, like, what do you do? Right? What do you do? And so you answer those questions, and generally that's where the conversation stops.
Yeah.
In Waco, I've been absolutely amazed at the number of times I've said, this is what I do, this is what I'm doing here. And someone will immediately say, either how can I help, or have you talked to so-and-so who can help with X, Y, and Z.
That's Southern hospitality.
And so it's been really, really refreshing, especially from an event perspective, putting on events. It's so tremendous to have the support of the city of Waco, which we initially had when we started the fall regatta, which is on the Brazos River. Now we're gearing up for our next regatta, the third weekend in April, and that's taking place in Trading House Creek Reservoir. And so the county has stepped in, and they've been tremendous as well. Yeah. So between the city and the county and those two beautiful bodies of water, which is the Brazos and Trading House Creek Reservoir, we feel very fortunate to be able to utilize them. And beyond that, we just feel very fortunate to have the supportive kind of people in positions where they can help us within the city and within the county.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. And the event is what we're here to talk about today.
Sure.
So go ahead and give me all the event details.
Yeah. So the event is called the Texas Rowing Championships, and this event has taken place in a variety of different locations, traditionally in Austin or Dallas for a long time, over a decade, multiple decades. This regatta has a history. When we've been here, we initially found the Brazos, and it was incredible. But then we were also we went to visit Trading House Creek to see if we could set up a course there. And we visited Trading House Creek Reservoir with a gentleman named Tim Royalty. And Tim, he is the course guy in the United States, right? He needs a shout out because it's actually, that's kind of a funny aside, I guess. We were dead set on Lake Waco. We thought we could find a course in there. It's a vast, massive lake. We need 2,000 meters, 1.2 miles. So there's in that lake, I mean, that's a drop in that little bucket, right? It would be so easy to find. So we looked at a bunch of different locations, but based on the wind we were experiencing that day and different issues, which is you not only need a course, but you need it to be somewhat land adjacent because you need to be able to launch and land all of the craft and have a place that athletes and spectators can watch the racing. So we went on like a 2-hour boat tour all over Lake Waco, and we just couldn't quite find the perfect venue. And even before we got on the lake, Tim said, hey, have you guys heard of Trading House Creek Reservoir? Have you guys been out there? And we were just like, no, man, no. And we just kept so focused on Lake Waco. And so we're on Lake Waco, and we're like getting more and more disappointed because we can't quite find that perfect course. Tim's like, well, have you guys thought about Trading House Creek Reservoir? And we said, well, what about around this corner? Yeah. And then finally we get off this tour, and we're back on dry land. And we're dejected, and Tim said, I've got time. Why don't we just drive out to the reservoir? Why don't we just give it a look? So we went out there, and we stood on the side of the reservoir, and we went to different points around the reservoir, and it was just this it was an aha moment for us. And it was simply like, Tim didn't have to say it, and he didn't, but it was very much like, we should have started here, guys. Yeah. And so he was able to really find a great course that ends in the park at the McLennan County boat ramp that gave us exactly what we needed for this event. Wow,
I love that. That's really fantastic. So tell me all the details. Who's all coming? What can we expect?
Sure. So I'm realizing I'm not answering your questions directly. I'm getting very long-winded.
No, I love that. But, it's fantastic.
So going back to it, this regatta has this history. It's been in Austin. It's been in Dallas. It's been in a variety of different places. We have now identified Trading House Creek Reservoir as a potential spot for a course. So we started having conversations with the various programs throughout the state of Texas, and they have graciously given us a shot to host this competition. And so traditionally it's been a youth athlete centered regatta, which still is. The majority of events that'll be rowed will be middle school through high school athletes. But we're also going to have collegiate teams that'll be here, and we'll have masters, who's anyone out of college and beyond. And then we have open events as well for any of the national team and aspiring national team type athletes. So there's a little something for everybody at this regatta, but I would say that the majority of the athletes and majority of the races are going to be high school athletes. And this race is really dedicated to helping the youth athletes specifically prepare for central regional championship and then national championship. And so those are qualifying regattas. So for us, we're It's not a qualifying regatta. It allows all of the athletes to participate, and it gives coaches a sense of what athletes they want to put in which boats for the next regatta and how to move that forward. So it's a 2-day regatta. It'll be Saturday and Sunday, the 22nd and 23rd. I keep getting the
It'll be this weekend when the episode comes out.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. But teams will start arriving that Friday before the regatta, and they'll be practicing on the reservoir on Friday afternoon. So it's essentially 3 days of activity on the waterway there, and it's just been great. I mean, everybody's been so welcoming, from the Hallsburg School to the mayor to city council at Hallsburg. Because Hallsburg is right there, right on the reservoir, and they've been tremendous, and they're helping us with parking, and they're helping us in a lot of different ways, and we're doing our very best to maximize the positive impact that we'll have and minimize the negative impact that we would have, with the understanding that, I mean, these are people's backyards, literally, back right up adjacent to the reservoir.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And how can people get involved? Where can they find out more information? If you're looking for volunteers, anything like that? Yeah,
we're absolutely looking for volunteers. So, contacting us directly, probably the easiest way is info@wacorowingcenter.org. And that will, those emails will come through. You can say that you're interested, and then we can get you the appropriate information. We have different jobs set up online, and you can choose a shift and choose a job, and volunteers are the lifeblood of any event.
So many organizations also.
And so many organizations. And so for us, we will not turn any volunteers away. You never get to a point where you have, we've got too many volunteers. We can't possibly, because there's always something to do. There's stuff going on in the water. There's stuff going on land. There's a variety of different ways to be involved. And we'd love to pique people's interest in areas that they'd like to learn more about rowing or just event management, and get them involved in the regatta that way.
All right, awesome. And with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. And now for a word from our sponsors.
911, what's your emergency?
Do you hear that? It's coming from the house.
It's coming from inside the house? Do you mean? Could it be?
The Poltergeist. New from Rogue Media. 2 haunted hotties talking about haunted places. Every episode, we dive deep into the darkest places and give you a bit of history.
We're getting spooky in all the right places.
You've gobbled your last ghoul.
Follow along for the craziest and spookiest stories with Debbie's Dark Tourism. The Stanley Hotel,
Winchester House,
the Alamo,
Hotel Monte Vista,
and more spooky places. Find us at _Poltergals, POLTERGALS.
Look over your shoulder. It's us,
the Poltergals. Wherever you consume the podcast, you can find us there.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're 2 Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
Hi, I'm Caroline.
And we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers, true crime,
Rape.
rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
And now, back to the episode. All right, and we're back. So we were just talking about the amazing event happening this weekend, but I want to get into more Waco-specific questions. One of the questions I love to ask my guests is, what would you like to see more of in Waco?
What would I like to see more of? Wow, that's a really good question. I kind of feel like we're already starting to see it. And what I mean is, even in the past year, before, I moved here in August and previously was here, as early as March. But even in this past year, you're seeing so much growth. You're seeing growth in event, in activity, in all sorts of different things that are going on. You're seeing growth in farmers markets that are,
Wednesday night, now at Bridge Street.
There you go. Exactly. Things with the arts and things with a lot of cultural events that are happening here. And I think it's great, coming from a background where, for me, it's sporting events.
Yeah.
But I just love events in general. And I feel that Waco's starting to engage in that. And I just love to see more of it,
I love that.
And I think there's an appetite for it in Waco. From a sports side, from a cultural experience side, from an art side, from a foodie side, it all exists here in Waco, and it's continuing to grow. So I think we're already starting to see it, and I guess I just want to see more of it.
Yeah. I feel that completely. That is amazing. And it sounds like you're already getting so connected in our community. Is there anyone you want to maybe shout out that has helped along this journey or has really just made you love Waco even more?
Oh, this will turn into one of those like Oscar speeches where like the music has to play me out.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, maybe I'll speak in generality, so I feel like we're not
just don't forget anybody.
We're not leaving anyone
They
out.
will call you
right?
and be
they
like,
will.
why didn't you shout me out on the podcast?
And that is my worry. But like I said, we were talking about this earlier, just the support of the city, the support of events, Parks and Rec, City Hall in Hallsburg and the mayor in Hallsburg and the commissioner's court and Judge Felton and everything that's going on with the county. I mean, none of this is possible without not only the yes, you can do this, but also the help that they've been giving us in terms of directing us to the right people, in terms of connecting us with the right people, or just offering help themselves. And so it's like I said, I mean, every time I meet someone, they either want to volunteer or they want to introduce you to someone, or they know someone you're connected to. And so these conversations all come out of that. But probably right now, the most important shout out would be to my wife and my baby girl for tolerating me in this time. So we're a few weeks out from the event. This is when all the chaos happens,
stress,
right? I mean, it's the final portions of planning. So, I would say the most, all of these shout outs are important, but probably the most important one, that's going to my wife and my baby daughter for dealing with dad as he's being a little bit stressed at the moment.
Yeah, I love that. And again, family's so important.
It is.
And again, working with kids, it's just so important to have that aspect to it and just really show that it's community-based and community-focused as well. I also know that we're already halfway through the year. So, basically the year's already over if you ask me. But what is one of your goals to achieve by the end of the year?
Yeah, so this will be our first regatta with first springtime regatta and first regatta on Trading House Creek Reservoir. We are already in the midst of planning again for our fall regatta, and so 2 successes in both of those regattas would be tremendous. And we're on pace for a great first time event for us at Trading House Creek Reservoir, and then it's about recreating and expanding upon what was a great event in the fall of 2022 out of Brazos Park East.
Yeah. just continuing that motion, right? Yeah. Isn't that the whole point of rowing? Just continuous motion, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. And it really is. I not to get too sort of, I don't even know what the right word would be, but kind of touchy-feely. I am a person that believes that movement cures all. Physical movement, metaphorical movement, whatever it is. It's when we get stuck that we get into the most trouble. And just continuing to insist on movement, even as just the tiniest bit that day, I think is a very important aspect of doing things like reaching the goals that we've talked about and being able to achieve things at a high level and just not getting stuck and kind of pulled under.
Yeah, I love that. That's a wonderful metaphor also. So gorgeous. But yeah, give us all of your social media where you can find more information about you, your website, plug all the things so we know.
Sure. Waco-rowing-center.org. Contact us directly at info@waco-rowing-center.org, or you can connect with me directly, L. Walton, Walton, at waco-rowing-center.org. We are the Waco Rowing Center on Instagram, same on Facebook, so you can connect with us there. So through all those different ways, you can connect with us. And then if there are specific questions you have, or you want to be involved, either rowing in the program or volunteering or learning more about what we're working on within the community, then please reach out to us.
Yeah, well, it's a pleasure having you on. I'm so excited for this event. I hope people get involved and get active in our community. Is there anything else you want to share with our listeners today?
Just maybe one of the things that we haven't touched on, all of this, the regattas specifically, it's a great chance to bring the rowing community from the greater Texas area and beyond to Waco. They stay here, they stay overnight here, they go to the silos, they visit Union Hall, they go to Cameron Park. And so we're really proud of bringing rowers to Waco, not only to experience the beautiful bodies of water, but also to experience the community in general. And the other thing to say, which is probably the most important, is my reasoning for being here and coming in and being involved in the regattas is to do what we just spoke about, but also to support the Waco Rowing Center and what their aims are. And the Waco Rowing Center is very focused on activating new rowers, especially youth rowers who wouldn't traditionally be rowers. And so in partnering initially with La Vega, it's been great because you have these young student athletes who have no preconception of what rowing is, but they just grab hold of it and they love it. And Matt is doing a tremendous job as the coach growing that program. And one of the things that we've been able to do with community support is beyond teaching kids to row, we're also teaching water safety and teaching kids to swim. Wow. And so we partner with the YMCA and the Cooper Foundation and have gone through a program that has allowed access to water safety for all of these athletes. And for us, not every youth has to be a rower. Yeah. But it really is about everyone being water safe, especially in a community that there is so much water between Trading House, the Brazos, Lake Waco. There's so much water here. And the best way to enjoy it, I feel, is to feel safe around in that environment. So that's what this is about. The money that is raised through the regattas, the attention that Waco is getting in bringing the community here, we're turning that into a focus on the growth of the program here. Yeah. So as much as it's from bringing the outside into Waco, it's also growing from Waco out. And that's really the premise. And so I'd be remiss if we didn't have the chance to talk about that, because it's it is the most important aspect of the work that we're doing here. I love that. That's absolutely fantastic. And again, I appreciate your time for being here and again, sharing this with us and sharing it with our community. Yeah, thank you. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure having you on. Thank you. Find us everywhere on all social media platforms, KNOW_Waco. Check us out at roguemedianetwork.com, and we're on YouTube under Rogue Media Network. Check out nowaco.com.